You would plan and foresee that you would go somewhere and say, I'm gonna do this and that there, but two things.
With all the preparation going down the toilet, my problems this week are so stubborn. It's in unimaginable extremes to such an extent that nothing is gonna pan out very well. My route was supposed to leave PE in the evening and wake up to a hunt, but unfortunately,
No, that's fine.
it might be me, but I'm not feeling myself because it would be close to impossible that you would have told me on a Friday evening when I prepared to leave that I wouldn't be hunting. But unfortunately, unforeseen circumstances. Sadly though, the evidence was there even before I left PE. It was going to be a very challenging weekend.
There's times when there's no lucerne, you're almost out of lucerne and you have to make other plans, and those other plans are these.
A plan that's there to free me from the stress of seeing hungry animals, demanding their daily dose of lucerne, because at the end of the day they have to supplement, but supplementing is necessary for me when it's time to offload. Yes, it might be freeing me from something, but it's holding me back in terms of responsibility.
Everywhere you go.
Everywhere I go is, Evandine, don't you eat gamer? Evandine, where's the gamer?
Where's the other one?
Where's that one? Where's this one?
Who's the other one? Satan?
Satan, Warubile. Nyambe, Mangolo.
So I've finally been able to buy a few things that I thought I would need when I'm out hunting, because it's an endurance hunt, so you need to have a lot of fuel, a source of fuel, something that's gonna fuel you, because now I'm gonna drive for the next 6 hours and then hunt. So unfortunately, the KFC here doesn't have meat, so I'm gonna have to continue and see along the way. Some places in South Africa are really well conserved because the population of animals on this road now, there's porcupine on the road, there's a whole lot of other species, but I'm keeping my eyes open because I wouldn't dare love to run over a kudu or whatever, because the population is very healthy. Driving at night and you see a lot of animals at night, that says a lot about the places.
Definitely carnivores don't go to sleep with an empty stomach because it's an early morning tomorrow. With an early head start, you would think that I would get there very early, but unfortunately,
I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere. This is what's happened, and that's the other thing that happened. So I don't know, but I've got a spare wheel. So what happened is, as I was taking a curve, there's a big boulder on the road, and unfortunately I couldn't turn right or left, so I rode over the boulder, and unfortunately the tank had a puncture, and now the tire I've been able to change, but what I can't figure out is how can I seal the tank up until maybe PE.
And the figuring out part would turn out to be a very long morning and day of back and forth, up and down, trying to dry a tank and not being able to dry it.
So my biggest concern is now that I'm near farms, and because I'm in the middle of farms, there's not a lot of resources around. Like, you don't have a Midas readily available here. So what I'm thinking is moving back to Queenstown, and then when I'm in Queenstown, I will have access to Midas and etc. And then be able to maybe get epoxy or prickly steel or whatever to just cover up the hole and just double up on the whole, cover up, and then see to it that I can be able to move back to P, because I don't want to have any bush mechanic work on the car and then there's no warranty on the work done, and the other places don't want to touch the car because it has been tampered with by someone else.
So the initial plan that I had was to drive down from Takastad to Queenstown. But when I realized that to Queenstown is going to be 70 something kilometers, I organized another plan to drive down and try and look for whatever solution that I can find, but Midas is still closed.
You see, isn't there a co-op garage or something there around?
So the first thing that I do when I get to Queenstown, I get in contact with him and he tells me to buy Steadfast. But Steadfast is something that you can't put your hands on in Queenstown. The whole of Queenstown doesn't have it, and Queenstown doesn't have a co-op. I've struggled before, but not like this.
And all over, every shop doesn't have it. I don't know where I'm gonna find that.
Now you're gonna have to now just use what you can get. You see, take sandpaper, sand it down, make it nice and clean, and apply that stuff. Put a lot on there, so until the thing set. You understand? And you take it from there.
The whole of Queenstown doesn't have any.
And I try every last resort that I had and eventually give up with what I've got. So I decide to turn back because regardless of me coming to Queenstown and filling up someone else's tank while my tank is leaking on the ground.
As with every story, it comes down to you get it where you left your car opposite the street and you went up to Queenstown and you came back from Queenstown and you find your car there. And then you find exactly what you need.
Momentarily I'm happy, but now the challenge is getting this thing dry. And it gives me a couple of ideas, but these ideas are not working because this thing doesn't stop leaking even if it's jacked from the lowest point.
So now the solution is if it stops leaking, then I'm gonna be able to wipe it down and do what's necessary. But for now, I'm gonna wait. The first plan has not worked out, so the second one's gonna come back. So now I am free from all my problems. The only problem I have is waiting for epoxy to dry. Cross the road, fill up the mile, fill it up and go. The biggest problem now is that the epoxy is falling off when I want to fill up, so that's a problem.
Mali mina namhlanje dlakadlaka mani. Yo. Imoshakele apha kuwe ngokungakwazi uzofika apha kuthi. Because ngokuqiniseka nabe kuzathi imeko yethu ibisithini na unyuka apha yokuqabela ngaba ngasemva. Yona yona ikhola le bese izasisebenzela yona namhlanje nabe kuzawuthiwa kuthini.
So all in all, I was able to win regardless of how I won. And I was able to drive 25 kilometers and it's solid underneath there. It's not coming off anytime soon, so I can fill up and get to PE. So I tested it with 500 rands and I saw that it takes it and doesn't have problems. So we can fill it up and go.
Kodwa ndiyakhala mani. Yazi? Yer. Hayi mali mini sisesapakanyelwa kungalungi mani suka ayikho lento. Yini namadoda imini yethu sizobe kahle kangaka mani bese ngakhange sonemntu. Imini yethu ibibiza bantle kangaka.
Out of all those challenges, I was able to overcome and headed back to PE, but on my way back, the texts kept coming in from my friend that they were succeeding that side and eventually got 3 pigs.
Aye. Number 3 for the day.
While this side of the world is very abundant with wildlife, I'm still struggling to find a farm that will let me hunt, but eventually I'll get on top of it. Shockingly, he recognizes me from TikTok and I get a tweezer for a full tank.
Packet to copy twist. Go wet. For a full tank, you get a 2-liter twist. 1,000. What long would you under us? So this teaches me one thing, with everything that has been happening, with everything that has just happened, it's a matter of I have to be prepared. I have to have an electronic pump. I have to have something to plug. I need to have something to plug tires. I also need to have some form of epoxy when I travel. I need to have a proper toolbox, because when you travel in rural areas like this, you need everything to be on the vehicle so that whatever happens, you're able to deal with it then and there. But at least I'm going back to